Tim, we're going to bring in the radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers. It is Tim Alcorn, who's joining us now. Tim's been on. That was even worse DAP than me.
Listen, but
he's putting the headset on. Listen, I have worked so hard to improve the DAP game after the media day fiasco of 3 years ago. All the progress I had made, I just took a giant.
You just have to go in for it. You got to go in for it. Just sell it.
He went with the fist bump, and I went Tim.
That can be confusing because some people like to shake hands and some people like to fist bump. So if you get one of each, it's awkward.
And we both audibled in the middle, so we switched. He went for the fist bump, and then we.
It's awkward.
You guys, I need a moment off. You guys, You take this. What's up, Tim? How you doing, man?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Have you gotten to the point where you're trying to figure out how you're gonna call these LeBron James dunks and scores and things like that? You got some colloquialisms you
I need to put this on the table right now. Unlike Varden, unlike Fedor, unlike AC, I'm a team employee of the Cleveland Cavaliers, so I've got to be very careful about what I say right here.
Here you go. We're gonna protect your job at all costs. If we say something, just put it on me. Just if G. Bush said that, you had nothing to do with it.
Now, I will say, obviously, that I've called that man's games in the past, both in the NBA. I called a couple of his high school games when he was at St. V. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. In my prior life,
what was it like
being
watching?
In high school.
What was it like watching LeBron in high school?
Oh, it was just extraordinary. Now, if I could go back, how many years ago? Good Lord, 28 years ago, 27,
25 years ago,
yeah. If I could tell that young play-by-play guy, this guy will be the all-time leader.
That's crazy.
I mean, we all knew he was going to be great, but to be
this great,
at this level, still at 42 years old. I mean, me calling that 17, 18-year-old, I would have been, he's going to be really good. I don't think anybody saw the stratosphere that he was going to reach.
The most impressive part of LeBron that doesn't get talked about enough is the expectations he had in high school.
Oh,
knowing he was going to, or knowing everyone thought he was going to be this good. And he still exceeded them.
Right.
He's lived up and exceeded even the highest of high expectations. And you see so many top prospects, number one overall kids coming out of high school who turn out to be good college players, don't have the pro career. Some of them don't even become the all-star caliber players in college. But LeBron had the highest. He was the chosen one. The chosen one.
I've been thinking that as you've been going through this.
And he is
junior
not only
year of high school.
He's lived up to it.
Cover of SI. Yeah. Chosen one. I mean, think about that and the pressure that was on him. And yet there is so much credit not only to LeBron, but who he surrounded himself with and who was mentoring him and coaching him and being a part of his life to guide him through all that. It is, and it's an extraordinary story. It really is. I mean, a couple of speeding tickets here and there, and aside from that, I mean, he hasn't made headlines. He hasn't been in trouble. It really is when you think about what the expectations were and the bar that had been set at 15, 16 years old. It's amazing.
Tim, I spent so much of my life following the Cleveland Browns, which is why I look so old. But anyway,
I'm a Bills fan, so I'm sorry to hear that.
You're right. He understands. He understands.
So I'm a very outside observer and often listener of the Cavs for much of the year anyway. It just seems like this team does have great energy and chemistry. Can you just speak to that as someone who's around them?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a real tight-knit group of guys. They love playing together. They love being around each other. You often hear about a locker room cancer. There isn't anybody like that in this team. And they are really relentless in their quest for a championship. There is no doubt about that. Now, will somebody be the final piece to that? We wait and see, don't we? But no, they are tight-knit. They're a great group of guys, and there is a hunger. And I think what has gotten lost is the fact they did reach the Final Four of the NBA.
People forget that.
Yes, and did it end in a disappointing fashion?
Yes.
It sure did. But you got to the Final Four, something that hadn't been accomplished in a long time. And so they know they're on the cusp. They know they're on the brink, a piece or two to finish the job. But, yeah, they are hungry to get to that ultimate level.
And they're close. And if they get a certain somebody that our friend to the right can't name names,
we don't even know
they'll
his name.
be even closer. Tim, thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here.
Are you playing?
I don't play.
Do you do play-by-play for the golf tournament?
Yeah, right. That'd be great.
That'd actually be a great idea for next year.
Here's Chris Fedor on the 18th green.
We actually next year we'll put it in because we're gonna bring Cayleigh Griffin in 1 second. We're gonna put that in writing that next year, Tim, we're gonna have you live on a hole for the second hour of the show, and we're gonna do some random cutaways in and out of breaks of Tim giving us a little play.
He said that so good it can make anybody play good. Like I felt like I could just be like, man, I'm nice, I'm great. But you heard how you introduced me on the 18th hole?
He's the best. Tim,
Well, maybe I should have
we'll be in
said
touch.
Fedor's in the rough.
Tim, the best.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
There you
You guys
go.
are
There
awesome.
we
You do
go.
a great job. Thanks.
Awesome. And we got our final guest of the first hour here joining us as we continue our coverage from the Austin Carr Celebrity Golf Outing. And this has been a star-studded
Yes, it is.
lineup. Cayleigh,
Hi.
you've been with us via remote. You've been in studio.
Yes.
Now you join us from the Austin Carr Celebrity Golf Outing. How you doing today?
I am doing great. I just need to give you guys a heads up. Austin Carr always goes for the fist bump.
Okay.
Always.
Okay.
And usually it's like this. You got to be prepared for the double.
Wow.
He doesn't come straight on. So I'm always he gives me the fist before every game, and it's sometimes awkward because I don't know if he's going straight in or he's going up or down, but fist bump always when it
Okay.
comes to AC.
That is the insight you can only get from someone who works with
Yeah.
AC on a nightly basis like you
Yes.
do. There was the TikTok phenomenon
Oh,
that you guys
yes.
have done, and I hope that comes back again next
I
season.
know. Yeah.
Because Austin was the star of TikTok. for a
He
while.
was the star. I mean, listen, that kind of came about naturally, and then that season was a historic season. So we were doing it after every Cavs win, and they just kept winning. So it kind of took on a life of its own. Unfortunately, last year with our broadcast, we only were doing home games, so it kind of got derailed a little bit. So we'll see if we can bring it back for this season.
Yeah, listen, I'm excited because you take a look at it. Even you just sitting there talking about it, I'm imagining what it would be like watching those pregame and postgame shows when you talk about, LeBron was excellent and Austin tossed to Austin, and he's like, yeah, look what passing James Harden and Evan Mobley with. It's weird because I'm thinking like, is he still here? Is he here already? Is there an anticipation level, even though you do work for the Cavs? Is there a little something you're like, I'm kind of excited. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so I will say technically I don't work for the Cavs, so I can speak a little bit more freely
Okay, well there we go.
than Tim can. But yeah, I think there is an anticipation, right? I think we can all kind of agree is that there hasn't really been any movement when it comes to the Cavs' upcoming roster. So it feels like we're in a holding pattern waiting to see what this decision ultimately ends up being. I think we're all on pins and needles because I think we are imagining what it could look like if you have Donovan, LeBron, James, Evan, Jarrett, like, whoa, all of a sudden you're adding a piece that obviously he is 41 years old, but he has reached the mountaintop in numerous spots. You know what he means to this city, to this organization. So to have him maybe come full circle and end his career here feels like it could be really special. We'll see. Time will tell.
How great is live TV when it works? And how scary is it when it doesn't?
It is. It is. Yes, that is exactly how it feels. Austin keeps me on my toes a lot in the best way. We've had a few moments. He did let a curse out 2 years ago on our post-game show when we used to have Tristan and George Niang on there.
Those were the best. Those were the best.
And honestly, only Austin can get away with something like
Yeah.
that where everyone just completely laughed it off and it was no big deal. But yeah, it is. There's always a little bit of an anticipation of, okay, what if this doesn't work? But for the most part, I feel like we're in a pretty good groove usually when we're going into games. So I would say usually I feel pretty good, but there's always those moments where you're a little bit nervous about what's going to happen.
Sure.
Cayleigh, we have about 30 seconds before we have to hit our final break of the hour. So very, very quickly, are the Cavs going to make it further than they did last year with whoever may or may not be on the roster? Or do you see them maybe regressing a tiny bit because the Eastern Conference has gotten a lot better?
I think it depends on if a certain somebody ends up signing.
It's a fair answer.
That is my personal opinion. If he's not there, we'll see. If he is, I feel good.